Hey guys, my name is Matteo, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formats out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. The first question for today comes from Andrew, and it is, do you think the developers of Battlefield 5 will have a focus on the competitive scene and try to make a quality game over a game overloaded with features? Well, I'm assuming what you're talking about when you're referencing these features is the excessive amount of bloating that occurred with Battlefield 4 and the crazy amount of gadgets. There are so many gadgets in this game that it's literally impossible to ensure that every single one of them feels unique but is also well balanced. Right now we have ones that are useless, like the Riot Shield or the MP-APS, and then we have ones that are flat out busted for competitive play, as you mentioned, like the UCAV or the XM25 Airburst. Being able to kill people across the map in the safety of your deployment probably doesn't make the best, not only gameplay in my opinion, but also doesn't really make for a good competitive scene. And so I'm right there with you if they kind of focus in and dialed in on what they really wanted each class and all of the gadgets to function in the next Battlefield game so that we don't really have this problem. Some people may not even see it as a problem. A lot of people like to use the UCAV. They like to use these excessive amount of gadgets because it just makes Battlefield Battlefield. Being able to take out a helicopter out of the sky with a UCAV when you're the one who does it feels incredible. You can't really do that in any other first-person shooter, and a lot of people just think that's kind of the charm with Battlefield. Why does everything need to be ultra competitive? Why does everything need to be well balanced? Because it's just the fun of the game. Video games are meant to be fun. These gadgets are fun, so why eliminate them from the next Battlefield? So that is one counter argument. I may not agree with that, but you know, I'm only one guy, I'm only one opinion, and the vast majority of the Battlefield community may think otherwise. As for focusing on a competitive scene or esports in Battlefield 5, I think it's possible, but it's kind of hard to say how DICE should handle it. They actually attempted this with the release of Battlefield 4. This is the reason why they added in Spectator. This is the reason why we have a crazy amount of game modes in here, because not only did they want to cater to the hardcore Battlefield community that's going to be playing Conquest and Rush, but also more of the infantry focus 5v5 with game modes like Diffuse. I still remember a ridiculous tweet from one of the DICE developers who was talking about how he's foreseeing that Battlefield 4 is going to be the next big esports or the biggest esports first-person shooter out in the market in 6 months. Of course, it never happened, but that was what they were going for. And so I guess I have to ask the question of what exactly do you want them to focus on to make this more appealing to the competitive scene? If it's just reducing the amount of features or bloating, like what we have with the gadgets, then I'm right there with you. If you think that's all it's needed to make the next Battlefield a competitive first-person shooter in esports, then I'm right there with you. If you think that they should focus on the smaller game modes, and that's where they should spend most of their attention to create or cultivate a competitive scene, then that's when I'm gonna have some problems. Battlefield is known for all-out epic warfare. That is what makes Battlefield Battlefield. Tanks, helicopters, jets, infantry, all in a mix on a gigantic map. That is what the Battlefield franchise is all about. And if they want to have on the side some smaller game modes with well-balanced weapons, hopefully, well-balanced gadgets, and a solid netcode, then great. I could see a competitive scene organically rising from that, and I think that would be a good thing for the Battlefield franchise in general. But I don't know if they should necessarily spend or focus all of their time on catering to that crowd. Battlefield really has never been known for its competitive scene. I know that there has been a couple of competitions here and there, but it's never really taken off. And so while I'm right there with you that they should narrow in their features, things kind of got out of hand with some of the gadgets and what they were doing with Battlefield 4, in general, I think that they should focus on what makes the game fun and why people love it right now. And while I'm completely fine with having things on the side bring up organically, I don't necessarily know if that should be their main focus for the next Battlefield game. But that, of course, is just my 2 cents. The next question comes from Glasses, and it is, do you think that Rainbow Six Siege is going to go the way of Titanfall and die off really quickly? It is a possibility. I mean, this is true with any first-person shooter that comes out, and it's something that I am worried about with Rainbow Six Siege because I adore this game right now. I mean, if you guys ever watch my live streams, I am live streaming this every day for like 5 to 6 hours. It's incredible. I love this thing right now, but the thing that worries me is that eventually people are going to start to notice that there are some netcode related issues, and that might be its downfall. Ubisoft has come out and said that they recognize that this is an issue and that they are going to be fixing it in the near future. They haven't really gone into detail on how long it's going to take for them to resolve the netcode, but they have said that it is an issue and that they are working on resolving it. Just the simple fact that they have recognized that there is a problem, I think is amazing, at least in my eyes, and it bodes well for the longevity of this game. It's really going to come down to the developers and the support that they bring to this in the next couple of weeks and in the next couple of months. If they're able to come in with a bunch of patches to not only fix out maybe some of the balancing issues, but also just to improve the netcode and bring in more content along the way, I really think that this is going to be in for the long haul. Like, I want it to be in for the long haul because of how much I am loving it. And so while of course it is a possibility that this just loses favor, no one wants to play it in the next couple of months, but I'm holding on to hope as long as the developers stay diligent. I think that this is going to be a solid first-person shooter for some time now. The next question comes from Anthony, and it is, do you think that they will have a Star Wars Battlefront CTE? I doubt it. It is distinctly possible, and I'm going to hold on to hope that that is something that they bring to Star Wars Battlefront because it's one of the reasons why I would say that Battlefield 4 has lasted as long as it has. Being able to actually test out and balance out weapons and have that development feedback with the developers has been incredible for Battlefield 4. I mean, it literally saved the game. Before we had CTE, things were going down the drain. I mean, it was looking really bad, but over the last year and a half, things of course have gotten to the point where it is now probably one of the best first-person shooters out on the market. And so why wouldn't I want to have that for Star Wars Battlefront? The only issue that I can think of though, and it's a big one, is with Disney and Lucasfilm. I have a suspicion that Disney is acting as overlords and they are watching everything that DICE is doing with regard to their intellectual property. They don't want anything amiss. They don't want any screw-ups when it comes to their property, their IP, and I would be surprised for that very reason if they allowed gamers to get in on that development cycle and start to test out patches or changes to that game. The next question comes from John, and it is, do you think that the test range in Battlefield 4 should allow you to play with friends? Therefore, you can practice with your friends privately without being disturbed and ruining your stats. I don't think this is DICE just saying, I don't want you to play with friends on the test range. I think this is just a limitation of what they have kind of set up right now. If you want to play with friends, I think that they would require servers to do that, and I don't think that they have the servers right now, or I don't even think that they want to pay for the servers to be able to have people play on the test range. Maybe if there was a peer-to-peer, but I don't think that Battlefield 4 has peer-to-peer. I mean, I am way out of my depth right now, but I think the reason why they don't have this is because they don't have the infrastructure for servers to be able to host test range for multiple people. I really think that's the only reason why. If anyone knows more about this, let us know. I'm only making an educated guess. I really don't know what I'm talking about. And so if you actually know the reason why that you can't play with friends on the test range, let us all know down below. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.